pandemic has provided a lot of opportunities for us to look inwards.
New approaches to turn the COVID-19 pandemic into opportunities top agenda as 4th Nigeria International Petroleum Summit begins. Infrastructure destruction, federal government holds special town hall meeting to stem the tide.
In recent times, efforts of the government have been thwarted by some unpatriotic citizens.
Also tonight, federal government puts more structures to make the Board of National Senior Citizen Center function immediately. Good evening. This is NTA Network News. I am Kene Ima Ambodike. We are live in Abuja. Adeola Komia Kere joins me from Lagos studio. The 4th Nigeria International Petroleum Summit, the African Petroleum Technology and Business Conference, has resolved to turn the global crisis occasioned by the COVID-19 pandemic to opportunities. The theme of the summit, From Crisis to Opportunities, New Approaches to the Future of Hydrocarbons, key players say is indicative that though it cannot be business as usual, collaborations and innovations to align with the best of producers to stay afloat cannot be compromised. To this effect, President Muhammadu Buhari gave a commitment to making Nigeria a credible investment destination. Lydia Sampson reports.
The global energy mix is changing with more focus on climate-friendly, clean and cheaper energy. Nigeria is resolved to key into the transition to renewables, with many sponsors cautious about investing in fossil fuel. Key players say collaboration to harness and reduce production costs for sustained transition is the way to go.
The pandemic has provided a lot of opportunities for us to look inwards, and what we are saying, for example, in the local content front, we expect that we will begin to look at opportunities for developing our local capacity because of what the pandemic did to us.
Today, the whole world is transiting towards more renewables, and energy companies must see that opportunities both in terms of producing the current resources and also moving to new resources, renewables, solar, wind, and other resources that are available. But for us, most importantly, the world will still be utilizing gas for a long time to come.
We need to use our natural resources to transit into the renewables. You cannot abandon the natural resources and then all of a sudden you wake up to renewable discussion.
There is huge opportunity for decade of gas. Growth for our economy, increase for GDP, creation of job, elimination of poverty, energy security, and so many other things.
For these projections to yield needed results, the fiscal environment must be made right. And President of the Senate says the PIB will be passed in June.
We are very hopeful that we will be able to pass it this month of June. And I want to appreciate the cooperation and partnership between the two arms of government, the legislature and the executive arm. We have been able to really cement the relationship so that we are able to work together seamlessly.
International oil and gas organizations commended Nigeria's ability to not just stay afloat despite the devastation of the COVID-19, but also taking investment decisions for critical projects.
That we are determined to build on the progress achieved thus far and do what we can to continue to contribute to stability in the oil market on a sustainable basis.
Participants are unanimous that the Nigerian International Petroleum Summit, being the first physical summit in the oil and gas industry since the COVID-19 pandemic, is indicative that the world is gradually reopening as vaccinations continue to mitigate COVID-19. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Let's now go to security matters as President Muhammadu Buhari has formally granted audience to the Acting Chief of Army Staff, Major General Farouk Yahya, urging the military to spare no efforts at dismantling obstacles to national security and stability. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the report.
This is the first time President Muhammadu Buhari is meeting the acting Chief of Army Staff, Major General Farouk Yahaya, since his appointment 11 days ago. He was led to the State House by the Minister of Defense, Bashir Magashi, and the Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Irabo. Their discussions held behind closed doors centered on the state of the nation's security and the way forward. Efforts by NTA News to hear from the new Army Chief after the meeting proved abortive, but the Minister of Defense, Bashir Magashi, gives an insight into what transpired at the meeting.
The new Chief of Army Staff thanks Mr. President for giving him the opportunity to serve as the Chief of Army Staff and promised that he will bring all his experience to bear in collaboration with his colleagues, the Chief of Air Staff and Chief of Naval Staff, to be able to do this country proud.
During the meeting, the minister said President Muhammadu Buhari restated his marching orders to the armed forces to do whatever it takes towards the restoration of normalcy in the security situation for sustainable peace and prosperity.
The president, being an actor, one time or the other, has given us a direction in which we can learn from his experiences and apply them to our mode of operations. And I think we have taken the advice seriously. And the issue of synergy among the security forces was also stressed, and we assure him that we'll do our best to bring an end to the problem of security in this country.
President Muhammadu Buhari has since forwarded a request to the National Assembly for the confirmation of Major General Farouk Yahaya as the substantive Chief of Army Staff to succeed the late Army Chief, Lieutenant General Ibrahim Attahiru. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
The incessant destruction of the nation's infrastructure willfully has assumed a worrisome dimension, as no sector is spared of this act that has continued to endanger the lives of innocent citizens. This formed the basis for a special town hall meeting by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture to draw greater attention to this trend. Anthony Folson reports.
The setting has the traditional ambience of government interfacing with its citizens. However, the subject matter is crucial. Convener of the Town Hall meeting series, Lai Mohammed, set the stage.
In recent times, efforts of the government have been thwarted by some unpatriotic citizens through wanton destruction of critical infrastructure, thereby depriving the greater citizenry for whose benefits these projects and services are provided from enjoying them. Railway tracks have been subjected to wanton destruction. Bridge railings have been removed. Manhole covers have been pilfered. Street lights and other power infrastructure, oil pipeline, telecoms facilities, and critical aviation infrastructure have been damaged or stolen.
Revealing how bad the situation is, Minister of Aviation, Transportation, Works, and the Federal Capital Territory were critical about the state of this condemnable act that has continued to put the lives of citizens at risk.
One cantankerous individual decided to just go and demolish our fence and allow the airport to be so bare. And of course, we decided to show him how not to willfully damage public infrastructure. Because of wind shear, which is the sudden change of direction and speed of air, we had the Sosoluso crash. Everybody knew what happened. Those equipment that are to tell us that there is wind shear on this runway and we should avoid it for the next 10 minutes are being vandalized. So it's another Sosoluso waiting to happen if they continue. This critical infrastructure, they are not seen. They are not airport tenement buildings with toilets, with air conditioner, because that's a complaint. With lifts, they are very important. Lift is important, toilet is important, air conditioner is important, your queue is important where you go, but what is more important is to keep you safe.
In Lagos District, the narrow gauge, we have just one case. In the whole of Western District, we have just one case. But now listen, the whole of Northwest, 31. And you know what, we are not, you know Northwest, right? Want me to call them so that you can shame them? The whole of Northern District, 10. The whole of Northeastern District, that's where we have the worst case. No, not there. North Central is the worst case. Northeastern District, you have 43. North Central District, where you have Jaws and all those people, you have 50. Eastern District, you have 36. Abuja to Kaduna, 13. That's worse. What they do in Abuja to Kaduna is they're not cutting off the track. They're stealing, what they call that pin. There's a pin used to hold this thing down. So we have changed up to 10,000 of those things. You have to make sure every day before the train runs, we have to walk all that track to make sure that the track is safe.
The truth is that no nation grows beyond the capacity of its infrastructure. So every little one that we have, we must optimize it.
We are taking off over 25,000 covers of one form or the other. And these are critical public assets that you and I own that are being vandalized. This is just one aspect. Many of the streets, when you notice blackouts, sometimes you might think it is public outage. It is not. The blackouts occur because somebody decided to dig out the cables. So there is something uniquely Nigerian which we don't see in other parts of the country.
The ministers in their submissions advanced the need for strict laws that will deter or punish offenders. And in a quick response, representative of the Senate President assured that the National Assembly will not hesitate in passing any such bill brought before it into law.
The relevant ministries should quickly propose the law they want, whether it is amendment, fresh law, whatever. And I can assure you that the National Assembly will process it speedily.
Nigeria has constantly spent billions of naira in fixing or replacing such destructions. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
Now, the National Broadcasting Commission has directed all broadcasting stations in Nigeria to suspend the patronage of Twitter immediately. They install Twitter handles and desist from using Twitter as a source of information gathering for news and programs presentation, especially phone-in. This follows the suspension of Twitter operations in Nigeria by the federal government over the persistent use of the platform for activities that are capable of undermining the corporate existence of the country. In a statement, the acting Director General of the Embassy, Professor Armstrong Dachaba, said the Commission is issuing the directive because the Section 2, Subsection 1 of the Embassy Act entrusts the Commission with responsibility to ensure strict adherence to national laws, rules and regulations, while another section of the Code provides that a broadcaster shall ensure that law enforcement is upheld at all times in a matter depicting that law and order are socially superior to or more desirable than crime and anarchy. The statement therefore appealed for strict compliance to the directive and noted that it will be unpatriotic for any broadcaster in Nigeria to continue to patronize this suspended Twitter as a source of its information. Foreign state actors in Nigeria rallying ground. All right. Of course, let's tell you that the Minister of Foreign Affairs has actually met with diplomats over the same issue of Twitter suspension by the federal government of Nigeria. Abubakar Usman Akwanga will tell us more.
The efforts by Nigeria to enhance security and protect its citizens led to the recent ban on Twitter operations, which the government feels has taken side with proscribed groups and secessionists, a development that has led to different reactions, including some countries from Europe and America. This led to a meeting between Nigeria's Foreign Affairs Minister and members of diplomatic corps.
We are Nigeria's strong partners on issues of security, and we recognize the daunting times and the array of security challenges that confront Nigeria. While they are daunting, they are not insurmountable, and part of the way that you surmount them is through the partnership of the people that you see represented here.
Nigeria's Foreign Affairs Minister Geoffrey Onyema says the suspension of Twitter was part of emergency measures to protect the country from imminent crisis capable of undermining our sovereignty.
I think the partnership, our solidarity with the 5 countries was reaffirmed. They have supported us very strongly in our security challenges, humanitarian crises, development challenges, economic challenges.
Nigeria, has the most populous country on the African continent, is receiving maximum support and cooperation from the international community to champion a credible process that will entrench stability and guarantee national unity and development of the country. In Abuja, I am Habubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
And joining us now via Zoom is Daniel Boala, notary public barrister Lincoln's Inn. Good evening to you.
Thank you for having me. Good evening.
All right. What's your take on the decision of the federal government to temporarily suspend Twitter operations in Nigeria, citing security as the main reason for the action?
Yes, I support the decision of the federal government to temporarily suspend Twitter pending compliance by Twitter. Just like other countries of the world, we have precedents. In 2011, when the London riot started here, David Cameron, the Prime Minister of England, threatened to shut down Twitter if Twitter did not take out posts and accounts of individuals that were foiling the crisis. In America, it happened. In France, it happened. In Germany, it happened. In Israel, it happened. In fact, we have one of our African countries that shut down social media platforms, conducted elections before they brought them back and kept Twitter by the side. The erroneous feeling that the suspension of Twitter amounts to violation of the rights of the citizens of Nigeria, I think is misconstrued. Because if you can access Twitter, there are other social media platforms that you can access. And the federal government has not bound Twitter forever. Twitter has to comply with the takedown request by the federal government, because the recent killings of police people, burning of police stations and killing of private citizens has been linked to certain tweets by individuals who use the social media platform to incite violence. So the decision of the federal government is supported.
In that line, so what do you think is the rationale, behind some countries insisting the Twitter ban is against free speech?
Twitter ban. Did I hear you say insisting on Twitter ban? Did I hear you say on Twitter ban?
Exactly. Yeah, I'm asking, in the line of what you submitted right now, what do you think is the rationale, behind some countries insisting a Twitter ban is against free speech?
Yes, the rationale behind the decisions of countries to threaten that Twitter must comply with their takedown request to either delete posts or take out the accounts of individuals that were foiling crisis. The rationale behind it is national security. And sometimes it can be convenient for a country that is not presently facing crisis to shout free speech and free speech. But the advanced democracies that are teaching us the way have had their own fair share of the experience. You remember the January 6th Capitol insurrection in the United States. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Google, and all these other social media platforms were asked to take down what was considered to be false news, fake news, and misleading information. In England, it happened the same time. In France, there was even an order of court obtained against Twitter that Twitter must comply with the laws of France. In Russia, he even threatened he was going to block all the ISPs if Twitter did not comply by taking away obscene pictures, drug abuse, and child molestation videos that people were putting on Twitter. So every country that experiences a problem and feels that their nation is fragile, they will have to look at social media platforms that are promoting that. Not every information in Twitter or posted on Twitter are bad. Twitter is good for commerce, good for engagement, good for development. But identified accounts and identified posts that are inciting violence must be taken down. Federal government asked Twitter to take it down. Twitter refused, hence the suspension. As soon as Twitter starts complying with the request by the federal government, Twitter will come on board.
All right, thank you so far, Daniel. But then before we let you go, what lessons are there to be learned from this situation and for future engagements with similar platforms and national security?
Yes, I think that the lesson learned to be learned in this scenario, number one, is for the Nigerian people to know the limits of free speech as against the national security interest, especially at this time of crisis in Nigeria where we are faced with existential problem. On the other hand, is that all our intelligence platform in this country must wake up, because that is where the problem is. In advanced countries, the intelligence platforms were able to identify individuals that were posting, the posts that they were posting, and they are linked either with terrorism financing or foreign agents trying to destabilize their country. But in our own case, there is no information on the part of intelligence department. It is just the tweets and then the crime. So that is a lesson that I think we should learn. Our intelligence platform has to wake up. This is a time for us to identify people who are behind all the violence in the country in the hope to destabilize the country.
Well, thank you, Daniel, for speaking to us tonight on the temporary suspension of Twitter in Nigeria.
Thank you for having me.
We'll take some messages now. The network news continues shortly. Please do stay.
Here today, gone tomorrow. 'Cause you're volatile like the water. And you promise what you don't know. Sometimes it's right and then it's so wrong. Them go do like say them why. Go promise you the world. My brother all now worship. I'm all on the open eye. I see no be water. Like you'll be letter.
The smartphone network. Here is a very tough guy who knocks out every opponent. But now he's been knocked down by malaria.
Amatem Soft Gel.
Amatem Soft Gel makes treating malaria easy. Amatem Soft Gel is a game changer.
Amatem Soft Gel are good to combat malaria for body.
Available for adults and children. Say no to malaria. Yes to life.
I am with you at every stage of your life. Providing comfort when you are keeping fit. Comfort when you are expecting your bundle of joy. Comfort during motherhood. Comfort in your office. Comfort in your car. Comfort when sharing a meal. Comfort at bedtime. From cradle to grey, there's comfort for you with Vitafoam. Quality is vital. Quality is Vitafoam. Vitafoam, the fine art of living.
National Primary Healthcare Development Agency welcomes Their Excellencies, the 6 executive governors from the Northeast Geopolitical Zone of Nigeria, to its COVID-19 Town Hall meeting. We also heartily welcome the distinguished Senator Chukwuka Utazi, Senate Committee Chairman, Primary Healthcare and Communicable Diseases, Dr. Yusuf Tanko Sununu, Chairman, House Committee on Health, Dr. Haruna Michelia, Chairman, House of Representatives Ad Hoc Committee on COVID-19, and all National Assembly members from Adamawa State to the Town Hall meeting. The meeting is also honored to welcome the Secretary to the Government of the Federation and Chairman, Presidential Steering Committee on COVID-19, Mr. Boss Mustafa, Dr. Osaki Hanire, the Honorable Minister of Health, Dr. Olorunnibe Mamora, the Honorable Minister of State for Health, their Royal Highnesses, Chairman, Councils of Chiefs from the Northeast Zone, traditional and religious leaders, as well as other stakeholders in the zone, to an interactive session to discuss COVID-19 vaccination in Nigeria. Date, Tuesday, 8 June 2021. Venue, Banquet Hall, Government House, Yola. Time, 9:30 a.m. prompt. Dr. Faisal Shwai, Executive Director, CEO, NPHCDA, announced.
This looks different.
It is 8K video, beyond cinema quality.
So
you can pull portrait quality photos straight from video.
But will it last the whole trip?
Battery for the whole trip and the way back.
This is different.
Told you.
Now our hands we dey use protect each other. Now wetin dey make our hand powerful. The power to stop the coronavirus dey our hands. Wash your hands or make you sanitize every time. Make you dey always cough or sneeze inside your elbow. No comot for house o if you no wear face mask. Leave space make your hand no stretch reach your neighbor hand. Make you stay for house and no near people if you dey sick.
The much anticipated UEFA Euro 2021 is finally here. Can Portugal defend the title they won 4 years ago as they face world champions France, Europe giants Germany, Spain, Italy and England? Catch all the action via live transmission, in-depth studio analysis, fixtures, results, updates, and lots more on NTA, Africa's largest TV network. For sponsorship and advert placement, contact Bola on 08037044286 or Idris on 08034633644. This broadcast is proudly brought to you by NTA in partnership with Media Business Solutions, MBS Sports.
Thank you for staying with us on NTA Network News. First Lady of Nigeria, Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, has acknowledged the complementary roles the Nigerian governor's wives and to her humanitarian program under the Aisha Buhari Foundation towards the upliftment of health and the general well-being of women, youth and children. This was when she received the forum on a courtesy visit in the State House.
The Nigerian governors' wives under the platforms of the Northern and Southern governors' wives were at the State House as part of their solidarity and commitment in supporting the First Lady of Nigeria in advocacy towards improving lots of women and children, especially at the grassroots. This is part of their quarterly meeting, which deliberated on various issues affecting women, youth and children with a view to chart a way forward for improving their living conditions. While commending them on their achievements so far, especially in the space of tackling the problem of domestic violence, despite the COVID-19 pandemic, the First Lady has urged them to continue working in synergy towards advancing the cause of women and children, particularly the girl child. The First Lady has urged them to use their positions as mothers and role models towards promoting national cohesion, peace and unity.
It is important to consolidate our efforts on lasting legacies. So we thank the Almighty God for bringing us together this evening to meet and discuss some progressive activities in our nation.
As mothers, we also need to be mindful of the security issues around us at the moment and do what we can, especially with young people.
And we are so proud to say that this whole thing has been birthed by a wonderful mother who showed us the way in every respect, with her personality, with her forthrightness, with her love for truth, justice and equity, and her care and concern for women and children in the country.
We also want to assure you of our support at all times to all your initiatives, and thank you for your support at all times.
The deliberations centered on efforts put in place by the spouses of the governors towards addressing burning issues such as gender-based violence, drug trafficking, and all forms of social vices. From the State House, Aliu Kabir, NTA News.
In the meantime, the federal government has reiterated commitment to rescuing the remaining Chibok school girls in the captivity of Boko Haram insurgents. Minister of Women Affairs, Paul Ntaling, re-echoed the determination of government during the inauguration of the completely remodeled government secondary school Chibok, where 219 girls were abducted. Abubakar Mohammed Musa reports.
Students of the government secondary school were elated by the turnaround in the school and books presented to them.
My prayer is that may God bless them and give them more time to help us, help others, and they should provide for all the things we need, and God bless them.
Minister for Women Affairs, Dame Paul Ntaling, who was pleased with the developmental strides made and return of peace to Chibok community, urged the parents to reciprocate the gesture by allowing their wards, especially the girl child, to at least complete senior secondary school.
The school was destroyed completely. It is therefore heartwarming to witness the official reopening of the school today after it was refurbished to allow for normal activities to resume.
Rehabilitate and reconstruct houses, rehabilitate villages with a view to ensuring quick return of internally displaced persons to their ancestral homes. This is the only solution to ensure lasting peace and sustainability in our own state.
Principal of the school, Asabe Aliu Danglan, thanked the federal and state governments for the remodeling of the school. In Maiduguri, Abubakar Mohammed Musa, NTA News.
Elsewhere, the governing board of the National Senior Citizen Center has been inaugurated by the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Umar Farouk. Ruth Aguela reports that this follows the National Senior Citizen Center Act, which was signed into law by President Muhammadu Buhari to cater for the needs of the elderly in the country.
Aging, they say, comes with challenges, especially when attention is not given to the socio-economic needs of the aged population. This informed the establishment of the National Senior Citizens Center to take care of the elderly in the society. Now, the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development has inaugurated a governing board of the center, which will protect the rights and promote welfare of older persons in the country.
It is in this regard that the government made conscious efforts to establish the center to develop and implement productive activities, social protection, and work schemes for senior citizens and ensure a sense of security and a general feeling of health and worthiness extended to them.
I want to heartily thank His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari for the confidence reposed in us. I also thank the Honorable Minister for finding us suitable for this responsibility.
The governing board is expected to facilitate the implementation of the national policy on aging being approved by the federal government. In Abuja, Ruth Aguela, NTA News.
Now, the Sultan of Sokoto, Sa'ad Abubakar III, has described the violence as antithetical to growth and development and advised Nigerians to work together against forces threatening the unity of the nation. This was at the commissioning of the Bauchi Muslim Hajj Transit Camp named after him by Governor Bala Muhammad. Mahmoud Ibn Muhammad reports.
His Eminence Sultan Sa'ad Abubakar III, giving his royal blessings to the newly constructed Bauchi Muslim Pilgrims Transit Camp, situated along the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa International Airport, Bauchi. The edifice has male and female hostels, mosque, cafeteria, multipurpose and screening halls, and the clinic.
There are so many citizens in this country, in Nigeria, and so many people are doing a lot to dismantle this country. And I believe we have a duty to rise up to the occasion, challenge those few elites that think they must control this country.
We decided to initiate this with the State Assembly, and after due consultation with the National Hajj Commission, we came up with this edifice that has, besides all that you have seen, the physical infrastructure.
With the capacity to host 1,000 pilgrims at a go, the edifice will also serve as a transit camp for Christian pilgrims. In Bauchi, Mahmoud Ibn Muhammad, NTA News.
We still have a piece on insecurity following the aftermath of a strategic engagement between the Inspector General of Police and commanders of the force across the country. Now, the Nigerian police has announced a ban on all roadblocks, tinted permit, and spy number plates with immediate effect. The meeting reviewed the security situation, evaluated the strategies, and came up with a roadmap on how to combat crimes.
As a policing model is becoming obsolete and unacceptable. Hence, we are working towards enhancing our intelligence-led and technology-driven policing capacity, as well as strengthening the safer highway modernized patrol scheme as an alternative to roadblocks. In due course, an enforcement mechanism that will enforce the standardized process of issuance of SQR plate numbers and tinted glasses will be implemented.
Let's now join our Lagos studio for more reports. Over to you, Adeola.
Thank you, Kenny. Across countries, the girl child has gone through several transitions. At first, she was relegated to the background culturally and academically. Generally, her evolution revolved around domesticity. Through the ages, however, the shake-up of some traditional stereotypes has seen the girl child blossom into a powerful force in all spheres of human endeavor. The irony of this positivity is that attention on the boy child is minimal, and this deficit tends to manifest as he navigates his way through a tough world. Imoliayo Tokede Ogunfowora takes a look at the challenges limiting the potential of the boy child and how they can be surmounted.
Schools, they were punishing students because of something they did wrong. Then the boys, they flogged them without even pitying them, but the girls, they spared them.
And the female child, they get more attention.
Tomorrow's husbands and fathers there, sharing some of their issues, they have come to realize that the deliberate attention given by society to the girl child invariably places them at a disadvantage. Nkiru Ugwadimma, a mother of 3 boys, argues that children go through same phases irrespective of gender and must therefore cross same hurdles in character molding.
The boy child is also raped. They're not talking about it. We need to begin to speak up to them to talk about these issues. A man bottles up a lot, and because he bottles up a lot, then he will just come out and become a violent person. We don't want that anymore.
The popular public opinion is that minor concern for the boy child, who is assumed as capable due to masculinity, has led to a deterioration in his overall performance.
When you talk about violence and so on and so forth, it is fostered by men. When you talk about societal ills, it is fostered by men. When you talk about things that arrest our development as a nation, as a people, it is fostered by men.
The girl child that you have raised properly may end up marrying the boy child you did not raise. And so you find a lot of disoriented young men who are not balanced in their upbringing, young men who are not balanced in their development. And so what you find is that they do things that you would wonder whether something isn't wrong with them. But a lot of times it's not their fault. It's because somebody didn't do a proper job.
We have to inculcate character development as part of what we're working on with the students. Not only are we focusing on, of course, academic fields and academic sphere, but we're looking beyond that.
Onkiro believes that every child deserves the right to thrive, be loved, and granted the basic rudiments to succeed. In Lagos, Imole Ayotukede, Ogunfowora, NTA News.
Now, as Lagos State strategizes ahead of possible new wave of COVID-19 pandemic, the House of Assembly is working on amending a bill to enhance the capacity of health workers across the state. This came to the fore at a public hearing to intimate stakeholders with the content of the bill. Musa Toliat has details.
The bill titled "A Law to Repeal and Reenact the Lagos State College of Health Technology and for Connected Purposes" is subjected to public hearing to get the input of stakeholders with a view to having a strong legislative backing for training of health workers in the state. Speaker, Lagos House of Assembly, Right Honorable Mudashiru Obasa, who was represented, stated that the essence of the amendment is to make the bill more functional in line with global best practices, which require sustainable capacity building of health workers.
In the olden days, this technology always provide, as it were, nurses, technologies that can manage or man the primary health facilities in across the nation. But nowadays, there is need for us to rejig and to make it more functional for the benefit of all.
The institution already has a flurry of different categories and levels of education that they offer. But the new bill hopes to expand on what they offer.
They actually accommodated almost everything that we have been praying for, but just in a little bit of addition in the area of the staff emoluments and staff welfare.
The Lagos House of Assembly is proposing the amendment of the bill which established the Lagos State College of Health Technology in 1920. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
You're still watching the Network News. We'll take another break and we'll be back to Kene in Abuja.
The management and staff of the Nigerian Television Authority, Akure, cordially invites the general public to the first edition of the NTA Akure Forum Lecture. The lecture titled Good Governance in the Face of Corruption and Insecurity, the Imperative of Youth Involvement, which will be delivered by Honorable Olubumi Tunjiojo, member representing Akoko Northeast and Akoko Northwest Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives under the chairmanship of Dr. Bode Ayorinde, founder at Chivas University, Owo, and Engineer Ife Oyedele, Executive Director, Engineering and Technical Services, Niger Delta Power Holding Company of Nigeria. His Imperial Majesty, Oba Frederick Obateru Akinruto, the Olubo of Ubo Kingdom, and Chairman of Ondo State Council of Obas and Chiefs, will be the Royal Father of the Day. Special guest of honor is the Ondo State Governor, Arakunrin Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, SAN. Date is Wednesday, 9th June 2021. Time, 10 a.m. Venue, International Culture and Event Center, The Dome, Akure. Please note that all COVID-19 protocols will be strictly adhered to.
I did look for pension fund administrator. We're soft, make sense, we care for me. Shy. No be the type when story go enter the matter when it's time to deliver. Oh no, 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 no. The brand is sure them no go stress you. Call them then they accessible. Yes, customer care where they on point. No go regret when you try, of course. Profitable investment, everything is just a blend. If you know what's good for you, my guy, make you choose premium pension today. Make that switch to premium pension. Premium pension. Make that switch to premium pension.
Join over 700,000 satisfied members and enjoy the premium experience at our offices across the 36 states in Nigeria, including the FCT. Call 094615-700-704 to make the switch today. Premium pension. Active today, premium tomorrow.
What's the difference between regular data and MTN data? I'll show you. With regular data, you get this. But with MTN data, you get moved right into the action like this. And this. And this. And this. With MTN data, you don't just get more, you experience more. loads of data to live your dream? Turn it up on MTN, the reliable data network.
One passenger. Big auntie. Come and enter my bus now.
Hey, conductor, this cough is serious. I beg, you need to go to the hospital.
Hospital? Ah, auntie, if I go hospital now with this cough, those people will just say I have COVID-19.
No, they won't. Doctors say cough symptoms are different in every condition. Some are dry, others are wet, like your own.
God bless you, auntie. I have told this my conductor. The cough has refused to go, and it could be tuberculosis.
Ah, conductor, check am o. Make you dey sure, because who no go, no go, no.
Check that cough for tuberculosis.
Check am o, make you dey sure. If your cough is more than 2 weeks, it could be tuberculosis. TB test and TB treatment are free. Just call the National TB Hotline on 3340 for information on where to get the test. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Health with support from the American people.
Please keep an eye on Jenny.
Oh, that's all right.
Uncle Paul, look! I want to be a pilot when I grow up.
That's good. I've always wanted to be friends with a pilot.
Uncle Paul, what's your job?
I help people understand things.
Like a teacher?
Almost. I help explain to mummies and daddies what they can do with their money. I help people build stuff. And I'm always there when they are happy and when they are sad. I help people grow all kinds of things.
You're a farmer!
Not quite. I help people keep and grow their money so later they come back when it's bigger for themselves.
You're a magician!
Just like a pilot, I help people move from where they are to where they want to be.
Thank you, Uncle Paul.
Pilot.
ARM. Invested in your tomorrow.
You clean your teeth every morning, but that fresh breath feeling just doesn't last. The answer? Easy. You keep your teeth strong and healthy and give your mouth long-lasting fresh breath with new Oral-B 2-in-1 toothpaste. It helps strengthen your teeth and gives you long-lasting fresh breath.
So fresh, still fresh, and still fresh.
Stay strong, stay fresh. New Oral-B toothpaste for strong teeth and long-lasting fresh breath.
10. Fun is 10. Smart is 10. Elegance is 10. Fast is 10. My experience is 10. Redmi Note 10 Pro. Challenge the boundaries. Get the Redmi Note 10 Pro. Built with a 108-megapixel camera, 120Hz AMOLED display, and Qualcomm Snapdragon 732G, as well as 33 watts fast charge. Redmi Note 10 Pro. Powered by Xiaomi.
You're watching the NTA Network News. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the appointment of Dr. Rukayatu Abdul Karim Gureen as Senior Special Assistant to the President on Administration and Women Affairs in the Office of the First Lady. Dr. Gureen, who was a senior lecturer at Bayes University in Abuja before her appointment, replaces Dr. Hajo Sani, who was recently appointed as Nigeria's delegate to the United Nations Educational and Scientific Organization UNESCO in France. The President also approved the appointment of Dr. Mohammed Kamal Abdurrahman as Senior Special Assistant to the President on Health and Development Partners in the Office of the First Lady. Dr. Abdurrahman will combine his new role with his position as the personal physician to the First Lady. Office of the Auditor General for the Federation launches forensic laboratory as Nigerian Exchange Group closed Monday's trading on a negative note. Musa Abubakar has details on business news.
Thank you, Kenneth. The Office of the Auditor General for the Federation has opened a forensic laboratory and successfully trained first batch of forensic auditors and examiners for ministries, departments and agencies. The digital lab, which is the first of its kind leverages technology for automation and evidence-based data management for proper accountability. It also gives real-time access to files across MDAs for the purpose of audit, with 21 forensic auditors already trained. Auditor General for the Federation, Gugu Adolphus, says the auditors will resume in ministries, departments and agencies next week.
That we even stand prosecution, court prosecution. You look in the direction of forensic auditing. It is not only just audit evidence for the National Assembly, it is equally evidence that could be gathered and tabled for prosecution of culprits.
The project has so far gulfed 74 million naira since it began in 2017, and the Auditor General is optimistic it will transform the nation's audit system in line with global best practices and the changing times. Now, the capital market equities market closed negative to open the week on a red. The all-share index shed 0.10% to close 38,686.4 points, and equity capitalization at 20.2 trillion naira. 210.8 million shares valued at 1.5 billion naira were traded in 3,958 deals. ABN Holdings, WAPIC and Chams PLC are the most traded shares with a combined value of more than 133 million naira at the end of the day's transaction. Well, that's business. The news continues after the break.
On Tuesday Live this week, our focus is on reviving grazing and forest reserve to enhance food security and sustainable economy. Tuesday Live, every Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. Don't miss it.
They'll be here on time.
Will rush home for tasty meals prepared with Sonia tomato mix.
Yummy ×2.
It's so good eating together with the family. Thanks to Sonia. Sonia tomato mix brings you together.
And Kara shopping with the right place. That one no fine. No, nice. No, it's too dull. This one. Oh wow, it's beautiful. Omo, this fabric. It gon' fade though.
Yeah. Look, make I tell you something. The new area Ankara, it go take good care of it.
No right.
Not lie, not true.
And the price?
Cheap.
Try new Ariel on your Ankara and colors now.
We're starting the happiness movement with Molfix.
For baby's happiness, it is important to choose a dry diaper, because with a dry diaper, babies do not have rash and are comfortable.
Nigeria's #1 choice of mothers, Molfix Air Dry, has the dryness all the mothers dream of, because it's ultra absorbent and ultra breathable, so it stays dry and does not leak. Our babies do not have rash. Come on, mothers, try Molfix and join our happiness movement.
The Center Fresh liquid food gum to refresh your confidence instantly. Center Fresh liquid food gum. Trust the freshness.
The internet at home disconnects me, but that's a thing of the past. Today, I found the great solution. With Connect, I can get internet from space. It's super fast satellite internet from Connect. It's great. I can get internet everywhere. It's super simple and super fast. It's Connect. Broadband up to 100 megabits per second. All this from 6,900 naira per month. Isn't it great? Go to connect.com.
In my house, we may look alike, but we are very different individuals. Everybody believes their way is best. That's why Golden Penny Pasta is our favorite meal.
Golden Penny Pasta, made with durum wheat, is tasty, nutritious, a source of protein and fiber, and non-sticky. So you can cook, serve, and eat your pasta just the way you like it. With Golden Penny Pasta, your way is best.
A peak protein breakfast gets me to a great day. How do I know? Because my daddy goes to his work feeling good and always with a smile. Mommy is always filled with confidence. My sister is always in tune. And for me, learning new things becomes absolute fun. Because all day and every day, the peak goes on.
Start your day with a peak protein breakfast. Peak. Reach for your peak.
Not all washing powders are the same. Sunlight adds bursts of freshness to cleaning power to give you Sunlight 2-in-1 for sensational cleaning and freshness that lasts. Sunlight 2-in-1 sensational cleaning with burst after burst of freshness. Introducing Sunlight with luxurious oud fragrance.
'Cause I'm the new best thing. I'm the new best thing. Better than you've ever seen.
Discover new Guinness Smooth. Perfectly balanced for a smooth, refreshing taste.
Yeah, I'm the new best thing.
There's a free header! Goal!
And it's in the back of the net from Robert Lewandowski.
We already raised the lion, remember? Besides.
Looking for the ultimate football experience? Front row seats to feel every emotion, to be part of the conversation, and to live every banter. Looking for Ronaldo, Hazard, Sterling for massive skills and out-of-this-world moments. Looking for crystal clear picture quality, expert analysis, and the full experience of the Euro 2020. Come and get it. Watch the UEFA Euro 2020 live on SuperSport from 11 June to 11 July on GoTV. Love it. This broadcast is proudly brought to you by BetKing, Playground for Kings.
Up next is Sports Update with Tamara Ebiwe.
Thank you, Kenneth. We'll begin with football, where Super Eagles of Nigeria will have another chance to redeem their name against the indomitable Lions of Cameroon as both countries engage in another international friendly in Austria ahead of the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations scheduled for Cameroon. The first leg, played last Friday, ended 0-1 in favor of the indomitable Lions. Moving on to board game now, match day 2 and 3 of the Mind Games Scrabble Premier League for 2020-2021 ended in Abuja with 130 players from across the country. Team Blazers won match day 3, winning 9 out of 11 games. Brainiacs dominated day 2 with 11 wins out of 12 games. The league finals is built for Lagos in September 2021. And finally to tennis, world number 1 Novak Djokovic survived the shock fourth-round exit at the French Open. He came back from 2 sets down to defeat teenager Lorenzo Musetti 6-7, 6-7, 6-1, 6-love, 4-love when the 19-year-old retired with an injury. And that's the much we can take on sports. Kenna, back to you.
Thank you very much, Tamara. And of course, that's where we wrap it up on Network News tonight. Don't forget to be a star with NTA as we wage war against rape and rapists. My name is Kenan Ima Abodikim. Good night.
NTA. You can't beat the rich.
This is the network service of the NTA.
My name is Nancy Oyedia Orom. I'm AIT correspondent. I've been covering the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 the last 1 year. I just took the jab, the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, and it was seamless. And I was opportune to take these vaccines with the SGF, the ministers. So I want to use this medium as a journalist for someone who has experienced COVID in the last 1 year. I want to implore media houses, broadcast industries. Let's join hands together to propagate the good information out there for people to believe in these vaccines. That's the only way we can have health immunity and also achieve the projection and target of Nigeria come 2022.